What's up guys, Kevin Cage back with a quick video update. Hope all is well and I hope you really enjoyed this one. I'm gonna try to be as neutral as possible. Please understand that I am very biased because I hold cryptocurrency. I believe in this asset class and I just want to show you some data. As long as this helps you make your own financial decisions, investment decisions, awesome, but this is by no means financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research, decide for yourselves, believe what you want, and I will do the same. So right here guys, I just want to break down with the Dow Jones and the Bitcoin CME futures market and show what are gaps, what are these liquidity gaps that so many people refer to and talk about, saying we have a gap that needs to be filled. So I'm just going to break it down, keep it super simple. Obviously the Dow Jones right here, going up, 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 up. And even during, our recent correction, in March, if you guys want to call it a crash, a correction, whatever you wish, just on the monthly, just to look at, how much did it really go down. So from the wick all the way down to the bottom of the wick, we're looking at 38%, so say 40% drop. And a lot of people just think I'm absolutely nuts for even entertaining the thought of say a 20% drop. They say it can't happen, elections, this, that, but 2020 has been crazy. We are on lockdown. If businesses continue to be locked down, I just can't rule anything out. So until then, I'm absolutely just staying open-minded. I have my preferences, of course, but I just want to show you what these gaps are. So we can go on the daily if we'd like, and I just kind of circled some as a quick example. And if we want, you can see them a lot better. So obviously you can see clearly some of these gaps on the daily that have not been filled. One is at 21,500. Now I know that is absolutely insane to say, but I'm just saying that, typically 90% plus of the time these gaps are filled. So would it be, that absolutely insane to see a wick that went down to that price, 23% drop? I don't know. You tell me. I just want to show you the data here and you guys decide. All right, so I'm actually going to go on a 23-hour just so we can see things a bit clearer. And I'll show you what I mean by gaps being filled. So example number one, we have this liquidity gap. So we have prices that went from about 28,900 and dropped all the way to 28,400. So about a 500-point gap. And there was no price action. There's no candle. There's no wick. So what happened? Well, we refer to this as a liquidity gap or just a gap. And we say typically at some point in the future, we don't always know when. And if you know when, please let me know because I'm always trying to learn. I believe that, or these just fill. So notice we had this and what happened over here? This filled it. All right, so right there, that filled that gap. So now it can do whatever it wants. It can keep going higher, etc. Another example is right here. So we have this, and what happened? We have the gap filled once again, and it can be filled by a candle, wick, whatever. You can play with the time frames. Obviously, I trust the daily and the 23-hour time frames a lot more than maybe like a 1-hour time frame. But you guys decide for yourselves. And then we'll also see some gaps that have not been filled. So we have one right around here, 23,800. It seems, pretty large, pretty evident. You can go on a daily and see it clearly as well. And sometimes you can even see weekly liquidity gaps as well. So these are the two that I'm really looking at is 21,500 and about 23,800 because they have not filled. If we look to the right of price history, we don't see anything thus far. All right. And then also we can see everyone's excited that the Dow rallied and, on election day, man, I am not trading whatsoever on election day by any means. I have no idea what's going to happen. So I'm not going to try to guess. I'm not here to gamble. All right. I'm already in a risky enough market. So right here we have another gap. And I believe you can see it. Yeah. So, 23-hour, you can see it a bit clearer. You can argue that that is one too. We'll go on the daily and see if it still exists. Arguably it still does. So just so you guys can see it a little better. And it's not some massive gap by any means, but it does exist and we can just go and then there's the wick. So, right around 27,000. So I know we're excited that we, rallied a little bit, but just understand, even if we go 30,000 plus, typically these gaps will come back down just to be touched. All right. So whatever you believe, if you think we can just keep going up, I just believe at some point in the future, whether it's, next week or the coming months or the coming years, we just have to come down briefly and touch that before going up. All right. So that's just my personal opinion, my belief. You guys can, fact check this, go on TradingView.com and check it yourselves. All right. Now let's go to the Bitcoin CME futures gap. So we'll go right here. Let me delete this guy. So now I have a few just examples of the BTC, and of course you can actually go to the actual Bitcoin chart. This is just a futures. So notice we had a gap example all the way back here. And this is just a really good example of it getting closed. All right. So we have this liquidity gap around 6,600. And what happened? It wicked all the way down perfectly to close the sucker completely. So that's just another example. Of course, you can see this gap right here closed. We can see this gap. Has anything been closed here? Let's see. Let's go across it. So we're going to go, just little practice. We have this, We're going to go across. Did it close? Yes, closed. All right. We'll keep moving, and you just kind of look for open gaps. We have an open gap, it closed. So about 95%, even higher. I've seen some rates and studies that show that these gaps close 95% plus of the time. So that's just my argument. Now, if Bitcoin does go to 23K, I wish you guys well. I am not in Bitcoin currently. I missed it. Oh well. I'd much rather try to take advantage of a market correction for some of these alts, because some of the alts are down 50%, 70%, and I just cannot rule it out. If it starts sucking up and breaking and I am wrong, oh well, I'm willing to accept that and willing to adapt and buy back. But either way, just want to share this with you guys. All right. So we have this gap closed. We have another example of a big gap. We have this guy closed. All right. So where are the open gaps really? Closed, closed, closed. And I mean, there are some if you go to the actual Bitcoin price, but now we can just kind of see right here, we do have a small gap that has existed. All right. So if you really, really zoom in, you can see it's arguably, closed, and it really makes you wonder. So you guys decide between these and that. I'm just saying that we still have gaps around this region as well. The 9,700 region, if not even a little lower. And I know that there are some gaps around, 7K as well on the actual Bitcoin chart. So you guys decide for yourselves. My argument is this: we either, skyrocket now and you guys think we go to 20K, 50K, good and great. All I'm saying is, that means that there's still some probability that we'd have to come down and close it again. My perfect scenario is let's get this show on the road. Let's touch these, fill out these gaps on, any alts as well that apply to this, and then finally go towards all-time high. And I know that's not a popular opinion. I wish you guys well. Hopefully this broke it down just a little bit. I encourage you guys to look at these gaps or try to find some on a variety of time frames, and then find out, which ones are not filled, and see if this is just a theory or see if this, holds any weight to it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.